Yes, indeed. Welcome into another episode 75 of Total Hockey Now, here on the Total Hockey Now YouTube channel. I am at Pucking Thoughts, Adam Bernard. That over there is at Fuzzy Chris 91, Christopher Merez. Of course, we are temporarily a defensive pairing until our line mate, Ant Rivera 86, comes back. He'll be back soon. We miss him. And he's still staying in touch. He's doing well as a new dad.
He's got that new dad strength, I hear. Those kids bring you all that new strength, and I'm excited to once again play defense. I blocked a shot last week Monday that came up because playing the Monday league. I blocked a shot, so I think I'm a two-way forward now.
Okay,
that's what I believe I am here. The back checking is not great, but I mean, I feel like I'm a two-way forward. I'm like the Wish.com version, I think, of Anze Kopitar.
My season actually starts tonight. And there's Marek checking in, saying, "Hey guys, and congrats, Ant." But yeah, my league starts tonight. I've got the 9:00 Pacific time game tonight, so the middle slot, not the last slot. We'll always take the 9:00, no problem. 7:30 is preferred, of course, but
Do you guys have the 10:30 slot too?
So it's 7:30, 9, 10:30 are the three slots they do.
Those 10:30 late at night games, like if you know, because those ones are brutal.
Those are the ones. The way I do it is like you can't make the mistake of like after dinner putting the kid to bed and all that. You can't make the mistake of sitting down and watching TV because you start to get comfortable. That's when like you have like you got to check off like a few random errands that are like don't take very long. That's when you do it. Keep moving. Do not sit down. That is the trick to making the 10:30 game.
That's fair. Sometimes I get caught watching the Monday night game, and then all of a sudden the second quarter is basically coming to an end. I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta ramp myself up here. I gotta go out there and defend the lead.
Yeah, it's the 10:30 game. Those are the ones that love to play. But let's talk a little NHL news. So we're going to do a little bit of a different format today. We'll do some quick NHL news. We'll there was a trade in our hockey league this week, the Total Hockey Now league. We'll hit on that quick, and then we're just going to run through all 13 games tonight. It's a very deep NHL slate. Some of the games you might be like, I got no feelings one way or the other on this one. We may skip, some will stay. We're going to give it a shot today and just run through the slate and see how things go. But nonetheless, why don't we kick things off here, as always, with quick hits. And first up in quick hits today, Rupe Hintz, we'll talk about Leafs stars later, but he's going to miss tonight's game with an upper body injury after some contact with Austin Matthews in Tuesday's 4-1 win over the Leafs. He leads Dallas currently with 19 goals. Obviously, with the way Montreal's playing, Hintz is not a guy you want to be without right now.
I feel like Rupe Hintz has been part of that. I feel like for the longest period of time, like playing daily fantasy, just trying to figure out if he's in or out of the lineup, if he's day to day, if he's playing or whatnot. I feel like he plays more often than not, but just I don't know. Sometimes he's out. It is a tough loss though for Dallas. They're going to move Wyatt Johnson back down the middle. Duchesne was already playing the middle. They're already without Seguin, so that center core is looking a little thin. But I mean, we'll see. We'll see what shows up. I'll be awake for that game. I'll be watching that one.
I did notice Milo decided to get up and change positions during that game. So he I don't know what that means, but he's now facing the corner. So I don't know if that's yay or nay on that. But
he as you can see here, he's facing the wall because he is looking straight at what Jakub Dobes looks like, which is a wall. That's what he's probably trying to identify here. For those of you who don't know, my mom had got him a new bed for Christmas. He didn't like the new bed, so we've gone back to the old bed. I know some of you were worried about it, so we tried. But like an old pair of shoes, Milo is sticking to the bed there that he likes.
Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And he heard you talk about the bed, and he started looking at the camera like, "Don't talk about my bed." So clearly,
don't talk about the bed. That's it. He heard his name. He wants to know what's going on. He's going to assume his position, and then at one point he'll just leave in here. This room's a little chilly now because it's cold here in Canada.
That's true. It is the winter. Staying north of the border here. Speaking of the Leafs, we talked about them with Austin Matthews and the Hintz injury. John Tavares plays on the IR with a lower body injury and is week to week. He got a skate tangled with Chris Tanevs in Wednesday's practice, but was able to leave the rink under his own power. He's got 20 goals and 22 assists in 44 games this season. Week to week for a guy like that at this stage of the season, not something you want to see, but that's better than month to month.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate. It hurts himself in practice. Didn't seem like it was anything bad. And immediately, here's a couple of red flags though. A, it's week to week, not day to day. Immediately placed on IR. So I'm not gonna guess anything because I'm not a doctor, but it's not a tear, but it's a little bit more, I guess, maybe a sprain somewhere, high ankle sprain, maybe somewhere to the knee. But Toronto's center depth is not it's not great. Like Max Domi's going to move up to that second line, and then the rest of it is just not great. So say what you want about John Tavares, he may not be the player he once was, but he still had a role on that team, and he helped. Everybody was sitting in the right chair. Now without him, you're going to go out and have to supplement that offense. But it's about seeing what the other guys can do. Can Max Domi handle those second line minutes? Can he help, facilitate the puck the same way Tavares does? I don't know, but we're gonna find out.
See how Toronto does. We'll talk about that Leafs Devils game. Sheldon Keefe's one and only first return to Toronto in the last meeting of the season. The only trip to Toronto for the Devils on the schedule. The way the intra-conference or inter-division within your conference, however you want to describe it, schedule goes. The NHL revealed the 2025 Stadium Series jerseys, which is taking place Saturday, March 1st, between the Blue Jackets and the Red Wings at the Shoe in Columbus, Ohio State's football stadium there. Let's bring up the jersey on the screen there. As you can see both of them. Zoom in a little bit more, and then what I like, and they don't show it in the picture, which is kind of silly to me because the Red Wings are going to wear red helmets, but they have like a white football stripe down the middle, very similar to my balding pattern. And yes, that to me, it takes a very basic jersey there. I'm normally not a fan of just the simple script with the team name or city name. But you add that helmet with the white stripe, and it works for the Red Wings. And the Red Wings, because they're truly a two-color team, they can get away with more basic things.
If I had to pick one of these two, it would be the Columbus one. The Canada is fine. I don't prefer that because some people have been like, oh, maybe that should be their primary logo. I don't think so. I don't know the patch where it is. I get what it's supposed to be. I get it's the state of Ohio, but I just don't like it. There's a lot going on there. The Detroit one, just everything screams college hockey jersey here. We just strapped on some letter. We just wrote Detroit. You could have gotten a 5-year-old to do that. Just scribble it together, plaster it on a jersey. The colors are fine, but there's nothing exciting about it, right? Yes, the helmet makes it better, but the helmet is not the jersey. So I'm not going out to spend any money on either of these jerseys, but I can't imagine a Detroit fan going, yes, that's what I want to buy.
So apparently what they wanted to do to invoke the Ohio State vibe was they wanted Columbus to wear white at home so the Red Wings could wear red on the road. But Columbus said, no, we want to wear blue at home. So that went out the window, which I get because yeah, fine. You want to have the Ohio State colors, but the red team coming to town, usually you're rooting for the red team in that building. That to me, I'm glad they went the way they did. This works for me. Yeah, and I like the cannon. I think it's sharp. I mean, I know some people wanted them to go back to their old Blue Jacket logo, the original one, which, I know is kind of very, I don't know, cartoony or whatever, but I think for a one-off event like this, you absolutely could do it. And I think, not to say that I don't like the Blue Jackets jersey, it's sharp, but you already kind of have something like that with the third jersey you've had forever. Going back to that old school jersey and maybe making a modern twist on it, I think would have been cool.
I don't mind the B. I get that it looks a little bit cartoony, but I also don't mind the old Anaheim Ducks, right? The Mighty Ducks had. So yeah. Maybe that's just me, but yes, but again, these are fine because they're going to sell a couple. Retail price probably starts at something egregious. So
let's say 175 American.
175 American. So if I carry the one and then do the exchange rate, 700 Canadian probably. So
something like that.
Something in that range. Not worth it.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be more Canadian, that's for sure. But nonetheless, There have been worse jerseys. I'm okay with both of these. It should, but I would say, like I said, with the Red Wings helmet with the white stripe down the middle, I think that's going to look real sharp on the ice. So NHL gets it right there. I don't know how much of the game I'll get to see because I'll be heading to concert in Sacramento that day, but we shall see nonetheless. We got a couple more to go here before we get to Fantasy Focus and the 13-game slate tonight. Boston Bruins Cam Neely spoke yesterday. He said, we'll see where we're at in terms of how he's going to approach the deadline. Quote, I think right now we've got to look at two paths, one that we're buying and one that we may be retooling a bit. We still feel like we've got a team here, and we certainly don't want to jeopardize getting out of the playoffs because we made some moves that might be good for the future, but not good for the present. So basically what he's saying is he has no idea what he's doing at the trade deadline right now, and he'll make that decision, when the trade deadline gets closer. Because, it's not far away, but it's not close either right now.
That organization has no idea what they're doing with this team. Personally, looking at this lineup, this is a seller's lineup. Like this is not a good team, and you can't really go out and do a whole bunch. So, even if you did want to move some guys, you're not gonna get much. This is not a good team. They're not good. Like I know people want to think that they are, but they're not. This is not a good team. I would be on the phone trying to sell. Like, don't give false hope here.
I mean, listen, and again, because of the way the playoffs are structured, the teams that you're going to have to deal with and go through at least in the first two rounds. I mean, are you really, maybe Tampa right now has been a little up and down lately, but at full health, are you going to take the Bruins to beat the Maple Leafs in a 7-game series? No. Are you going to take them to beat the Panthers in a 7-game series? No. Tampa, maybe that's a coin flip right now. But I don't think, I think adding to that is just prolonging the Bruins have been very good for a while, and now they're starting to become mediocre, and maybe it's time to kind of lean into that and start the retool. If you don't want to use the rebuild word and do the full blown, what San Jose is doing right now, then at least try a retool, and maybe that buys you another couple of years. Because, as tough as the Panthers are, we all know about the Maple Leafs in the playoffs. The Lightning are another team that, their best days are definitely behind them in terms of being a competitive championship team. So, maybe you retool and come back in a couple of years and catch the Panthers at the beginning of a decline. But it ain't this year. I wouldn't be buying if I'm Boston.
I'm not.
All right, so there we go. Again, it's basically like him, sometimes I know it's January, we got to look for stories, but I mean, he's basically saying, I don't know what I'm doing yet. And that's fine. If Boston goes off and wins 8 of 10 and moves up in the standings, now, you can't sell then. But, if they're still playing like this, and 6 weeks from now, yeah, I would think maybe they're going to try and see what they can get for what they got. The Pittsburgh Penguins, Tristan Jarry's cleared waivers, and now he's with Wilkes-Barre Scranton. Pittsburgh GM Kyle Dubas said that this is temporary. They're going to give Joel Blomqvist an extended look in the NHL, who was called up in a corresponding move. I mean, listen, Tristan Jarry has not had a good season. He's probably not have a good last 2 seasons. Maybe some AHL time is what this guy needs to find his game again and become a serviceable NHL goalie.
Has any GM ever come into a job and done a worse job than Kyle Dubas has? I'm old enough to remember when Leafs Nation was telling me how what a genius this guy is, and I think maybe they came down to earth, realized he wasn't, and he's gone to Pittsburgh here, and there's just so many. He's making poor choice after poor choice. There, he gave Jerry a lot of money. He's still got 3 years left on his deal after this, so they're not you're not buying him out because why would you? And yeah, Tristan Jarry has not he's not played well. But let's stop pretending the Pittsburgh Penguins have been a good team. That they are not a good defensive team. And you don't bring in Erik Karlsson for his defense, right? What he's there to do. This is just not a good team. So I guess at some point they got tired of it, and they're like, hey, it was pretty safe to assume that he was going to end up in Wilkes-Barre Scranton, because I couldn't imagine a team picking up that. Yeah, you're not picking up that salary of that. It's not going to happen. So maybe a little bit of AHL time will help them, go down there, play some games, get away from the light. Maybe you can find a part-time job over at the Dunder Mifflin Paper Company, but I don't think he has to worry about the money, though. But Tristan Jarry needs some help. And look, It's not Blomqvist and Nedeljkovic. That's not the solution for it, but those are the guys that are going to run out every game there. What I expect the 50-50 split. I expect the Penguins to get worse.
Here's my thing with Dubas. Like when you come in and the team has really got one of two directions it's supposed to be going, right? You're supposed to be chasing a Stanley Cup, or you're supposed to be gradually, gutting the house and getting it down to the foundation for a rebuild. I feel like Pittsburgh has just kind of stayed where they are. Like, yeah, they've had a decline, as you would expect, a team that was so good for so long as their core gets older. But I feel like they've kind of like plateaued in that sense, like on a declined into a plateau where they're not getting significantly worse to the point where they're like talked about maybe getting a top draft pick. But they're also like, maybe they're a wild card contender, but nobody gives them a realistic chance of either getting there or getting out of the first round if they somehow found themselves in there.
Okay, they don't have the goaltending, and it's just so far it's just been a couple, like with the exception of signing Sid, because that was the easy one because he took a discount. So he just basically said, "Here's the check, sign whatever you want." Like he went out and signed Grizzly. Grizzly's been absolutely miserable. Jerry got that contract from him. He has not been good. He went out and got Erik Karlsson, which is fine, but we all know that he's not like he's not worth the money that he's getting paid now, and that's no fault to him. He signed his contract. He's been moved twice since he signed it. So I feel like Dubas is just putting all these pieces together, and every single one of them is wrong. This is not a good team. So I don't know what they're gonna do here. Let's not forget, like if Evgeny Malkin is 38, he's got 1 year left on his deal as well. Like it's not getting better in Pittsburgh.
No, and it's not, but that's the thing. It's like it's getting worse, but not at the rate you would want it to get. But I guess maybe they're also in that weird spot where maybe like Sidney Crosby said, I'll resign, but like I really don't want to be here if you guys are going to truly, gut the foundation of the team. I don't know what the situation in Pittsburgh is, but it's like they're in this NHL purgatory where like they're clearly not getting better, but like they're not getting worse at a bad enough rate where it's going to start to pay off for you. At least not yet. But we'll see. There we go. And finally, we're talking about Ovechkin, chasing Gretzky's goal record. Connor McDavid now sits second behind Gretzky for second place on the Oilers' all-time point list, but he's still got about 600 points to go to catch the great one. I mean, at McDavid's pace, that could be like 4.5 seasons away, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's quite fun watching Connor McDavid just, make everything look easy. The goal he scored yesterday was in tight, buries a top cheese short side, and he's just like, yeah, just a regular day at the office. No, he's elite. I don't think it's a question of if he catches Wayne. I think it's a question of when.
Yeah,
right. Like
sure.
if he's out there putting up 125, 130 point pace seasons, that it'll be closer. It'll be closer than further.
We'll see. It'll be fun to watch there in Edmonton. Before we get to tonight's slate, we'll do a quick fantasy focus here as we bring up the league. And there you see the current scores. Craig is not letting me have a good week there, trying to catch me in the standings. Chris taking care of business against Andrew Duhurst. We got Chris Wassel currently taking it from Gene's team pretty good. Still only Thursday. Thursday's big slate, Saturday's big slate, Sunday's mid-sized slate. So still chance to make things up. Neck and neck here between Ant and Wally Geis. And you see there at the bottom, Frank and Max Knight's close. And then Did You Just Fart and Josh Wagner. Wags with the 9-3 lead. And then the reason we're bringing it up is, trade made this week. I wanted to shake up. I've been big on Dylan Holloway lately. He's been playing very well in St. Louis. Jake DeBrusk also one of the few bright spots going on with the Canucks right now. And Jake Wallman coming back off of injury. Wanted to try and see if I could scoop him up as I get to watch him out here and I see what he's capable of. I do give up the best player in the trade, Sebastian Aho, and a pretty good defenseman there in Brandon Montour. But I feel like I've got, like, on my team, when you look at the roster there, I feel like I've kind of got similar defensemen to what Montour does with Morrissey and Middleton and Makar. So I felt like I could make that move to kind of get the guy I wanted and still get some. What I was really hoping to get was to get a center out and get some wings back because I didn't have enough wings. Now I got wings.
It's never a bad idea to have more wings. So I'm glad you did your part there. You did give up the best player in the trade. That is for sure. It was quite a choice to be able to give up Aho, but like you said, you did have the depth on the blue line. Acquiring Jake Wallman is good because somebody has to play in San Jose. The defensive core there is good. What Dylan Strome's been able to do for you, what Robert Thomas has been able to do, you have guys who can fluctuate in and out of that lineup as well at center position. A lot of guys can play dual positions, so I think you'll survive from there. Jake DeBrusk has played really well. Lost in all that, that bitter teenage feud between JT Miller and Elias Pettersson. Is Jake DeBrusk is playing well, and Dylan Holloway definitely as well. Adding, the points total is good. He's been a bright part for the St. Louis Blues. So overall, I think it's good. I like that trade went through at like almost 1 a.m. He's that was, I was like, do you guys really stay up late and just end up making calls? And I guess we're all just like them.
I think that was a situation where maybe he proposed it to me. Well, we went back and forth. I don't know who made the proposition when we finally agreed on the terms. But but I'm on the West Coast, so maybe I got it, 10 o'clock Pacific time, not too bad there. Yeah, like you said, I give up the best player in Aho, but when you look at my center depth, Strome, Thomas, Hintz, who's hurt, Monahan, who's hurt, and I got Holloway that can play there now. I was okay with it. Looking at Frank's team after the deal, and also because he's got Aho in his team name, I feel like, I had to help that out a little bit. Draisaitl, Aho, good top two centers there. Timo Meier. We got Hyman, and I tried to get Marchenko out of him. He's like, I can't trade him. I'm like, I understand, but I did ask for Marchenko initially in that trade. And now he's got a little bit of a better blue line there with Yossi. He needed a guy like Montour. Matheson's bounced back, and Yossi as well. I know he got Yossi, I think, from his brother earlier in the year. And then, you look at down there, he's got some good depth too. So we got some good teams in this league.
It is. That's a good center core there. Anytime you're starting with Aho and Draisaitl down the middle, you're in good shape. I also like how he's got that nice little Columbus winger stack there. I can understand why he probably didn't want to split that up, because that feels like a cheat code, being able to have Marchenko and Voronov at this point, just the way that they've played and all the offense that they can produce. So I can understand why you were trying to get one, but I also understand why he was like, no. But you did him a solid, though, by trading him Aho so it can fit the team name. So I feel like indirectly, he kind of owes you one at some point. Yeah. You know what I mean? And maybe not this year. Maybe it's next year. Maybe it's some point, in the years to come. But you know what I mean? He owes you one indirectly. It's one of those things that you can't put in the trade, but
I did him a solid.
We'll call it. Did him a solid. You're right.
Solid.
You're right.
So there you go. You look at that. And, Marchenko, 30 assists to Draisaitl's 34, just to put in perspective the season Marchenko's having. So
no, he's playing well. And don't forget, Draisaitl gets to play with McDavid. Sometimes he also gets to be on one of the better power plays. That's not what Marchenko's getting. So,
he had Monahan until the injury. Now we'll see when Monahan comes back, because Monahan was having quite the season as well. Tough to see him go on the shelf, but he should be back. He's another guy that's week to week, so hopefully it's fewer rather than longer, shorter rather than longer, I should say. But going to tweak with a new format tonight. There's 13 games in the NHL tonight, so let's just run through them all here. There's no reason to not, and if we don't have a feeling on a game, we're not going to throw out some, BS pick just to throw out a pick. Let's start. Let's just go east to west. First game on the board tonight, you got Detroit at Florida. You see the money line there and the total. Looking at the puck line, if you're interested on either of those, Red Wings plus a puck and a half, minus 114. Panthers minus a puck and a half, minus 104. You're looking at the 60-minute line for either of those teams, plus 330 for the Red Wings. Panthers already too juiced at minus 175. And looking at the starting goaltenders for tonight, you're looking at a Cam Talbot or a Sergei Bobrovsky situation here. So when I look at this, I mean, maybe there's a lean of an under. Detroit not play, they were on quite the streak there. And then they lose to San Jose the other night in a very high-scoring affair. Maybe they're licking their wounds a little bit here. Panthers are coming off that game against the Devils. I could see maybe if it's a low total, but maybe Panthers puck line. But I'm probably staying away from this one.
I've already smashed the over here. I can't believe that we're sitting at 5.5 after watching all that Detroit has done in the last few. Like they've played better, and yes, they did get pumped by the San Jose Sharks of all teams. But a couple of things here. One, Florida is a good power play team. The Detroit Red Wings are 31st on the penalty kill. Florida also draws a lot of penalties. They take some, but they also draw a lot. So if Detroit gets caught into that, they're going to get pumped a lot. And Florida has been a little bit inconsistent of late here. They like sometimes they score, sometimes they don't. Sometimes it goes well, sometimes it doesn't. So that 5.5 Detroit has a 2.2 team total tonight, and I just don't. I'm just not buying it. Not with everything that's happened since McClellan took over. Like this is a better team ish, I guess, or at least they're just playing better. But I'm not buying the. I'm not buying the 5.5 here. I have the over. That's confirmed.
You kind of push me towards the puck line because if you think Panthers puck line, because if you think it's going to go over, then I think that means Florida's going to win, and then they probably get an empty netter at some point. So that's something for me to consider there. I'll put that in the maybe pile. But other than that, I can see this one going low scoring too if Detroit has trouble scoring. So we'll see what happens there. Although the offense has been better, but again, this is more of a stay away from me. Now, looking at the next one on the docket here, you got the San Jose Sharks, heading into Columbus. The Blue Jackets being the favorite there, total of 6. If you're looking for the puck line, Sharks plus a puck and a half, minus 159. Columbus plus 140, minus about puck and a half there. I don't think anybody's considering the puck line on either of those, but I'm going to say under here. And I usually don't like, 6 total games, like, because it's I got the push. I just usually stay away from those. But when you get 2 teams that we'll say are bad teams, and have been playing better lately and really think that they have a chance at beating the other one, they tend to buckle down, be a little more defensively conscious. I think, you got Merzlikins versus Georgiev, so I know that would usually be like over, smash the over. I got a feeling both of these teams think they can win tonight, so they're going to play a much more competitive, tight-knit kind of affair. So I'm going to take under 6 here.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit the Columbus puck line. I don't Alexander Georgiev's in net. Like I feel like it's a missed opportunity to not absolutely abuse him. Here's the thing as well. Columbus is elite on home ice. They are just a completely different team when they play at home. The whole team scores more. Zach Werenski dominates everybody. I can't imagine a scenario here where Columbus is not the better team for the majority of this game. And Georgiev just can't stop the puck. He can't do it. And San Jose is not very good defensively. Maybe San Jose scores a couple, yes. But it's probably going to be like empty net goal, something like that. Maybe we need an empty netter. Or maybe, I don't know, Georgiev gets torched for like 4 goals on 7 shots. And his, it's 5-1 after the first and he's at the showers. So I can't not trust Columbus on home ice. I understand it's Columbus, but San Jose is worse. So I'm going to trust all that Columbus offense, and I'm just going to hope Merzlikins is not trash.
Lately, he's been trying to, when Georgiev goes, he tries to give him back-to-back starts. That's what he's doing here. He's coming off the 6-3 win over the Red Wings. We'll see what happens there in Columbus tonight. Chris likes Columbus on the puck line there. I like the under in this one, even though it's going against instincts there. Looking at the Washington Capitals, heading to Ottawa to take on the Senators. Capitals minus a puck and a half, plus 32. Senators plus a puck and a half, minus 270. You're looking on the 60-minute win line there. What do we got here? Capitals are plus 155. Senators are plus 130. Starting netminders here tonight is going to be Logan Thompson, not confirmed yet, and then Levi Merrylainen from the Ottawa Senators, who's been real strong lately. He's got just a hair under a 2 goals against, 925 save percentage, a 5-2 record here. This is a stay away spot for me because Washington's the better team, but they play well with Merrylainen and that. So I don't like this. This is a watch it to enjoy it kind of thing, but I'm not in on this. Nobody's
watching Ottawa because they enjoy it, but. Here, I can't trust Ottawa, right? Like that's not with. First of all, Thomas Chabot's out of the lineup, so that means somebody's got to step up. Jake Sanderson's going to play more. That usually in previous years that would have been good. That's probably not the case. Jacob Chikrin makes his return to Ottawa, so we should just pencil him in for a big game. And yeah, I have like that is the wrong, like Levi, whatever. I can't get behind this. So I agree with you. Probably not a spot I want to be in, but if you did want to be in this spot for, I don't know, maybe you don't enjoy mental health, you should probably be on the Washington side because it can't be on the Ottawa side. That just doesn't math for me. The math isn't math in here.
They've won 3 in a row with Carolina, 5-0 over Pittsburgh, 3-2 over Dallas, and then 2-0 over the Islanders. So, I mean,
okay, but beating the Penguins and the Islanders is not, you know what I mean? Like, it makes no difference. This is the Washington Capitals now. This is it. You know, this is a good hockey team as opposed to the Islanders who can't score goals and the Penguins that are just an absolute dog mess. So, like, again, I'm not buying into that hype. Not for the Ottawa Senators.
Stay away spot for me there, just because there's too many unknowns. I just don't like that one. And even when you look at the money line, you got a home team at -104, a road team at -106. Yeah, I don't like either side there. Next on the docket, we got Sheldon Keefe's return to Toronto here. You see the Devils are road favorites there, total 5.5. You want the Devils on the puck line -1.5, +202. Maple Leafs plus puck-and-a-half -232. If you're looking to go for a regulation bet, Leafs are +155. Devils are +125 here. How do we feel about the Keefe return to the building here to Toronto?
Probably gets Jersey a little bit, jacked up. You always want to go back to your old stomping grounds and kind of show them that they messed up. For me, I'm not really entertaining this game much. I don't know about the total. I could see it going low. Like I could see like a good performance from Markstrom. I'm pretty sure Joseph Woll is starting there, but Toronto's also missing Tavares. I don't know how that affects them. I don't know if Jersey comes out and kind of pounds them or something. I'd much rather not entertain this game at all.
Leafs losers are 3 straight. Joseph Woll struggled in his last game. Because of the revenge factor here, the stick it to him factor, and the Devils, clearly they like playing for Keefe. I would look at the Devils to win in regulation here. If you're catching the Leafs, maybe licking their wounds a little bit. This would be the spot, and New Jersey's a good enough team to win on the road there. So maybe you look at if you want to get some plus money, Devils +125 to take it in regulation there. It would be something I would consider. You look at Anaheim at Tampa Bay tonight, total 6.5. If you're looking at a puck line bet, even money for the Ducks plus puck-and-a-half. Lightning -118, puck-and-a-half there. If you're looking for a regulation bet, probably already too juice for the Lightning at -210. Ducks +390 there. Starting goaltenders for tonight. Don't see anything confirmed yet, so we can assume maybe it's a Dostal Vasilevsky deal, but I don't see anything here for confirmed starters just yet.
I don't care for this game, but I also don't care for the Anaheim Ducks. I would like Dostal to start. I would also like Vasilevsky to start, so I could pick the under here. 6.5 is that's up there. That line opened at 5.5. It's now all the way up to 6.5, and I just yes, Tampa could score 6, but the Anaheim Ducks could also score 0. And they are very good at scoring no goals on the road. This is a terrible hockey team.
They've done it twice on this road trip.
So, I mean, they're right there. They're right there. And yeah, I would probably take the under. I need Nikita Kucherov and the rest of the gang to yes, it's duck hunting season, but let's not wipe them out completely. You know what I mean? Let's not smack them 8-0. Let's stop at 6. That's it. Just enough so I could hit the under. That's where I would lean. I would probably lean on the under, but everything else of that is just it's a walking time bomb.
I would throw the puck line in on in a parlay maybe, just because you got Tampa in a good tee-off spot here after they just got embarrassed 6-2. Braden Point just got healthy scratch because he missed a team meeting, and they got to set a message for accountability there. They got the 5-2 win over the Penguins before that, and then one. They went to overtime and lost to the Devils, but 1-2 before that. So I think, -118. Tampa Bay puck line. I know Lucas Dostal plays very well for the Ducks when he does play, but Anaheim can't score, and it's just they've lost 4 or 5. It's hasn't been great hockey for the Ducks as of late. This could be a good spot here to maybe take a favorite and maybe you don't have to sweat that one out. We got a Metro clash here between the Philadelphia Flyers and the New York Islanders there. Islanders, no surprise that the total's 5.5. Looking at the puck line, puck and a half for Philly is -202. Islanders minus puck and a half +178. Looking at a regulation bet there for either of those teams. Philly +185 to win in regulation. Islanders +105. Looking at Ilya Sorokin going for the Islanders tonight versus Samuel Ersson for the Flyers. And I don't like to play these games because it's like I could see this being a 5-4 game, or I could see this being a 2-1 game, and they're too close to each other. This one's a stay away from me.
I truly could not care less about the New York Islanders in anything that they are the worst. They have the worst power play. They have the worst penalty kill. This team is a snore fest. I have no idea what they're going to give us tonight. They are a box of chocolates, but instead of how sometimes there's some chocolates you might enjoy or whatnot. The chocolates that are the ones that are not, I feel like poison. Like they could kill you. Watching this is just. I don't remember the last time I watched the Islanders play for fun. And I'm a degenerate. I'll watch any type of hockey game, but probably not this one. I certainly would not put my hard-earned money on anything that the Islanders have to do. And the Flyers, good luck trying to find that out. What's going to happen?
Islanders had won 3 in a row, including a road win over Vegas before they dropped the game to Ottawa 2-0. Philly in their last few, they lost 3-2 in a shootout to Columbus before beating the Panthers and then beating the Ducks 6-0 before that, but they dropped 4 in a row. There's 2 inconsistent teams here. Not touching this. Probably not watching that one either. There's too much going on.
I don't. I'm not watching them. Sorry, Islander fans.
Yeah, that one's that's a victim of there's too many games in that slot. That's not winning there. Let's go to Manitoba, Seattle on the road at the Winnipeg Jets. There, if you're looking for a puck line bet. If you think the Kraken can cover plus puck and a half, -143. If you think Winnipeg can cover it, it's +125 minus puck and a half. 60-minute regulation bets here. Kraken +270, Winnipeg -140. Looking at the starters tonight, you're looking at Connor Hellebuck and possibly Joey Daccord. Don't have a confirmation yet on the Kraken. For me in this game, I'm kind of looking at the under here. I mean, I know it's 5.5 and it's low, but Seattle can't score. They only score against good teams. They don't. They only score against bad teams. They can't score against good teams. And Winnipeg does an excellent job defending. This one I could see being like a 3-1 Winnipeg final.
Yeah, I can get on board with that. We need to make sure though that it's Joey Daccord, because if it's Philip Grubauer, he's about to get lit up like a Christmas tree. So
exactly.
Connor Hellebuck has been one of the better goalies in the NHL this season, every other season that's existed. The Jets are dominant on home ice. They can score goals on the power play. They got the best power play in the NHL. So, but like you said, Seattle doesn't score. So I don't expect the Jets to come out and just absolutely, manhandle Seattle the same way they did. Was it Vancouver? I think they played last. I mean, Vancouver is just not. That team's falling apart mentally. So I would probably lean as well the under here. That seems like a safer way to go.
Seattle in 4 straight losses has scored 2 goals. Winnipeg has only allowed 3 goals in their last 3 victories. And even when they lost 2-1 to the Kings, it was 2-1 in overtime. So, again, you look at a 5.5 and you don't want to look at necessarily bet an under, but that's a spot I think you could do it. If Joey Daccord starts, like you said, if it's Philip Grubauer, that goes out the window, I think. So that's what we got for that game. Next one, we got Calgary, St. Louis, the Al MacInnis Bowl. Calgary +119 at St. Louis -130. Got another 5.5 total there. Calgary plus a puck and a half, -220. St. Louis, if you think they'll cover minus a puck and a half, it is +192 in regulation. Looking at a Flames +195, Blues even money. This one they just met. This is going to be the back side of a home and home, I guess, here. And my rule on when you have back-to-back is however the first one went, you go the opposite on the total for the second one. So when these two played last time, it went under. So I'm going over here.
I'm just not caring about this game.
Really?
I can't get up for it. Can't get up for it. The Calgary Flames could be good. They could be bad. St. Louis is the exact same thing. Could be good. Could be bad.
Calgary winners of 3 of their last 4. The one loss was to the Blues in their last meeting, 2-1 the other night.
There you go.
The Blues have they've lost 3 of the last 5. They beat the Ducks 6-2 and the Flames 2-1. I'm not going to have a lean on who I think is going to win, but I do think it's going to be an over 5.5 here. Looking at the starting goaltenders tonight, it's Joel Hofer versus Dustin Wolf. So,
yeah, just not getting up for this one.
Not getting up for that one. All right, so there we go. I got Calgary, St. Louis there. Here's a game I'm not getting it up for either. Chicago, Nashville. Looking at the starting goaltenders there, it's Arvid Soderblom with UC Saros. If you're looking at the puck line on either side, I can't imagine you have that much confidence unless you got something to say on that. And let us know in the chat if you do. Blackhawks plus a puck and a half, -103. Nashville minus a puck and a half, -115. If you're looking at a 60-minute line there, Blackhawks are plus 350, Nashville -190. This I just got nothing for this one.
This feels like a trap. Nashville is supposed to be the better team, and all season they have not been. But Chicago is just miserable on the road. They're a miserable team to start with. When they leave the United Center, oh my God, do they get worse. So, like, that money line is obviously too juice. You don't want to drink that. Who knows how this game turns out? You know what I mean? Like, if anything, I would bet the total, just because if it does land on 6, you can get your money back and no harm, no foul done. I'd also bet the under on it just because both of these teams have been so bad at scoring. But I won't be doing that. This will be this will be the one that I turn on in between the intermission of something.
The Blackhawks have won 2 games since December 21st, a 3-1 win against the Avalanche and a 4-2 win over your Habs. They've lost 3 in a row and have given up 4 or 5 goals in all of those. So that maybe points to the over there. Whereas Nashville's coming off a 5-3 win in Vegas. Dropped 2 before that and struggled to score in both of those games. So, yeah, stay away spot for me here. Now, the one game I know you're going to be watching and is going to take over your primary TV is going to be your Canadians at Dallas there. If you're looking for a puck line bet, Montreal plus a puck and a half, -143. Dallas minus a puck and a half, +125. In regulation, Montreal plus 270, Dallas -140. Looking at the goaltending matchup for tonight, you got your guy Dobes versus Jake Ottinger. I would consider the under here if I was going to have a lean. You got 2 goalies playing very well. So I don't really. If I had to pick something from this game, I would say under, but it wouldn't be one of my top plays.
All right, so let's cook here. We're gonna go with the under. That's for sure. These teams met like 6 days ago. One of those games, Habs lost in a shootout. It's fine. Whatever. It's okay. The Montreal Canadiens don't necessarily score a ton of goals, but they are playing a lot better defensively. And, Dobej at some point is going to have a rough one. It might not come tonight. This kid has just the cojones of steel. He has come in. He has played some of the best teams in the league, and he has looked fantastic. So, I would play the under. I would take Montreal's money line here. Like, if something's going to happen, this game is going to be tight. I feel like it's going to be close. There's, the Montreal Canadiens aren't giving up a ton of chances. They're not exciting to watch sometimes, but they're not giving up a ton, and they're not getting blown out of games either that they lose. They're comfortable right now. They feel confident playing in games that are close. In previous years, when the game was tight, you could see it's not going well. So far, everybody's in their spot. Everybody's playing well. They're healthy. That's one thing. The same thing that we talked about earlier. Rupe Hintz is not in the lineup, so now you got Wyatt Johnson who's got to go to the top. Like, there's some pieces here missing in Dallas. I get that the Stars have been fantastic at home. I think they've lost 6 games all year on home ice in regulation. So I get that it's tough. I'm going to sprinkle the under Montreal money line. Also, if you want to get absolutely wicked, you could take this game to finish in a tie. So on the 3-way money line, you take the tie. If it goes to overtime, pays you a ton. Montreal's gone to overtime in, I think, 4 of their last 5. So, after 6, it's going to be close. It's going to be close. And it's probably, we might need some extra fun. down in Texas. So that's where I'm going with this. You could sprinkle a little bit around there, take your unit, split it up however you want, but the priority will be the under 6, and then a little bit on Montreal's money line, and then a little bit on the tie.
Montreal has gone to overtime or further in 4 of their last 5. And Dallas has gone to overtime or a shootout in 1, 2, 3 out of their last 6. And yes, some of those victories were close. They had the 2 overtime wins over Utah and the Rangers, 2-goal victories before that over Buffalo and Ottawa. Yeah, they had a 4-1 win over the Flyers and the Leafs, but been a lot of close games. And like you said, now you're without your top center. So yeah, maybe that's not a bad way to go the way you recommended that there. See who we got. We got State of Survival checking in. I think Isles have a good chance of tying today. So maybe if you think you like Chris just said, 3-way money line, go to overtime. Never know. And Philly Islanders could absolutely that's a way that could absolutely go.
I can't believe State of Survival watches the Islanders regularly and is alive enough to tell us about it. That's
why he's in a state of survival constantly. Maybe that's why the handle is the handle.
That would make sense. He's got to watch that team on the penalty kill and on the power play, and that is indeed a state of trying to just survive. Because man, is it miserable. Man, I was trying to figure out. I was like, who's worse than Detroit on the penalty kill? Boom, and the Islanders. I was like, oh man. Well, at least their power play must be decent. Nope, they're not good either. Wow.
Think about it, from like early October until mid-April, he's in a constant state of survival to watch his hockey team every night. There we go. You won't fall short of dad jokes here on Total Hockey Now. We got 3 more games to go before we say farewell. 13-game Thursday slate over there at Fuzzy Chris 91. I'm at Pucking Thoughts. Next game here on the docket: Rangers at Utah. Slight road favorites there. You're looking at the puck line for the Rangers to cover it is plus 216, minus a puck and a half. You think Utah can cover plus a puck and a half? It's way too juiced at minus 250. Looking at regulation numbers here, Rangers plus 135, Utah plus 150. And looking at the starting goaltenders for tonight, it's going to be Igor Shesterkin versus Kirill Vejmelka. So you got both teams trotting out their top goalie right now with Connor Ingram hurt. Utah and the Rangers met not too long ago. I forget what the result of that game was exactly. Pulling the schedule up right now. Yes, they just play. Maybe they didn't. I'm confused. Anyway,
I don't care for the Rangers tonight. I certainly don't care for Utah. I don't know, man. I'm trying. Like, you tell me where I should be going with this. You tell me how I should be trusting the Rangers on the road.
I mean, they played close in Colorado, although I believe Jared Bednar said they won in unimpressive fashion, if I remember that quote correctly. So, yeah, the Rangers won in Vegas before that. They got the 3-2 win over the Devils. They got Igor Shesterkin back in that game, so a little boost there. Utah, if they could play not great and still get a point out of Colorado, why can't they go to Utah and play a team that they're supposed to be better than and get a victory there? I mean, I could look at the Rangers in regulation as a potential play.
I don't know, man. I can't trust the Rangers.
And that's the thing. They haven't, looks like they're starting to come out of it, but I don't know if they've done enough where you can really trust them yet. So, maybe a big win tonight, all of a sudden now people are like, oh, they get Igor back. Maybe they finally have bottomed out, and whatever's going to, maybe they'll have turned a corner here, because after Utah, they got a home game against Columbus, up to Montreal, and then we got a 4-game homestand against Ottawa, Philly, Colorado, and Carolina. So there is a chance for them to, continue to show some signs of life here. Isles are top in face-off and 5-on-5. So there you go, Craig. Looking for anything to hang your hat on there as an Islander fan, there it is.
There you go.
Horvat doing his job in the dot for sure. And Marek Ducey wants to know, does Line score on power play or 5-on-5?
He scored his first 5-on-5 goal this year. Absolutely. I mean, from his office, still absolute howitzer. But I mean, maybe he scores on the power play, but it's unlikely because Dallas, I think, is pretty good on the penalty kills. So I don't know. Maybe he doesn't score tonight. If Montreal's second line cannot get absolutely throttled 5-on-5, that'd be great. Because when Kirby Doc and Line are out there with whoever else trots out with them, like, look, that line's not out there to play defense. They are there to produce offensively. So let's hope so. But if I had to pick where Line A would score a goal from, it would be the power play from his office, just right there, just a nice little opposite, from the left dot, that one timer, flex that stick, bury a top cheese.
There you go. Patrick Line to score a goal tonight. That's what you like. Back to the Rangers for a minute here. The Utah Hockey Club, which they still haven't. I haven't seen when they're going to tell us what the team name is. Like, can you at least let us know when the reveal date's going to be? Like, if nothing else, like I'd like to know what this team is going to be called. Nonetheless, they've only won 2 of their last 11 games: a 2-1 victory over the Sharks and a 5-3 win over the Flames. So, if you don't quite trust the Rangers yet to like maybe go as crazy as a puck line bet, minus 113, okay. But that's why I kind of like the regulation bet there, because if the Rangers are on their way back, this is a team they should be able to beat and dispose of in regulation. Plus money.
They've won 2 of 11 games, and the Rangers are only minus 113. That tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah, and that's because the Rangers have to prove themselves more. And maybe tonight is a step in the direction for that. Maybe tonight's a night they don't take they've taken a couple of steps forward. Let's not take a step back tonight. That's the hope there. And this is hopefully a good team to not slip up against. And hopefully they don't overlook them. 2 games to go. We got the Edmonton Oilers at the Colorado Avalanche, probably the marquee game of the night here. You're looking at the whole schedule. If you want to make a puck line bet here, Edmonton plus a puck and a half, minus 220. Colorado to cover it as the dog, plus 192. Regulation bets here: Edmonton plus 160, Colorado plus 120. Looking at the starters here, Mackenzie Blackwood confirmed. I would assume Stuart Skinner is going to get the start tonight here, and what's a pretty big matchup of 2 of the top teams in the West. What is your read here? That's a 6.5 total. I think that's maybe expecting a track meet here, but I can see both of these teams buckling down, and maybe an under. Maybe they get to 6, and you got to sweat a little bit, but I could lean under here.
I have the under locked in as well here. I get that, like, it's Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. I get that betting against them, generally you're going to lose. But Edmonton's playing their second game in as many nights, and now you got to go to Colorado. Colorado is a better team on home ice. Mackenzie Blackwood is yet to give up 3 goals in a game. It's 2 or less. It doesn't matter who he plays. He has been good. I did not have that on the bingo card. I did not have Mackenzie Blackwood coming over to Colorado and all of a sudden looking like prime Carey Price. But here we are. So if anybody's going to do it, I'm just going to pencil in Edmonton for 2. Like, that's it. So that means that I need Colorado to score 4 or less. And I think that's possible. That's my logic here. Edmonton may run out of gas a little bit because, again, you got to go to elevation. Again, they played yesterday. I know that McDavid's tank is just never ending. Colorado's a decent enough team. Sam Girard should be back in the lineup as well, so that's a little bit of an added boost here. I just think, like you said, a lot of people are expecting a track meet, but I think we see a more defensive game. I think we try to see, I believe we'll see best on best. So we'll see McKinnon and McCarr out there. We'll see McDavid. But maybe, I don't think Draisaitl is going to play with McDavid. They'll split him up. But still, I feel like we'll see best on best. 2 of those top lines that want to possess the puck a lot. I have the under here. That's where I'm going.
You take the Minnesota 6-1 victory away from Colorado over the last week, and they've been struggling to score. So, I mean, they 3 against the Rangers in overtime, shut out by Winnipeg, lose 3-1 to Chicago, win 3-1 over the Panthers, lose to the Canadiens 2-1 in the shootout. They were scoring before that when they had a 6-game winning streak going on, but pretty much since the beginning of the year, having a little trouble scoring here, getting the better goalie tonight with Skinner. Edmonton, they got a 5-3 win over the Wild last night, and like you said, maybe going up to elevation for Minnesota, that can have an effect there too. So both like the under 6.5 here for Edmonton, Colorado. And your final game of the night, the Los Angeles Kings at the Vancouver Canucks here. If you're looking for a puck line bet, Kings to cover minus a puck and a half, plus 240, plus a puck and a half for the Canucks, minus 280. So probably staying away from that. 60-minute bets here, plus 135 for the Kings, plus 150 for the Canucks. And starting in the net tonight, it's going to be Thatcher Demko for the Canucks and Darcy Kemper for the Kings. The Kings obviously not in a great situation here with all the wildfires going on in Los Angeles, and they had the game postponed against Calgary as a result of that. Then they had to go on the road. So that's not a great situation. Like, yeah, it's a little bit of a break for maybe, everything you're dealing with at home, but also you're trying to deal with things from the road. You look at how things have gone on the road trip after that postponed game. They go into Winnipeg. They got out a 2-1 victory, but lose 2-1 to Calgary after that, lose 1-0 to Edmonton after that. Having trouble putting the puck in the net. Maybe Vancouver with their struggles. Maybe this is a get-right spot, but this is a stay-away game for me for sure. The Kings still have to play. They got Vancouver and Seattle tonight before they get back home. So, you can't trust the Rangers right now. You can't trust what's going on with the Canucks. Like, to me, I'm not touching this one.
I get that the LA Kings are a better team on home ice, but the Vancouver Canucks are a mess. So this is the kitchen sink on the Kings money line. Like there's no two ways around this. The Kings are the better overall team. It's been rough for Thatcher Demko. Like, it hasn't been. You would think that having him in goal would be a plus. I don't think that's the case here. He has struggled to find his game, and which is fair. He was coming back dealing from injury. Who knows what was bothering him? And with all the Elias Pettersson is not shooting the puck at all. JT Miller's yelling at him. Quinn Hughes is back, but he's wearing a brace on his hand, and who knows if he's okay. Hronek is back, and that didn't seem to matter. I mean, Vancouver got absolutely pummeled by Winnipeg. It wasn't good, and they've struggled to score goals. So I get it was a road trip. Things happen, but the Canucks are not even that great at home. They're decent. They don't have a great home record. They're just above 500. So to me, this feels like a good spot for the Kings, regardless of all the things that are happening. This is a spot where I think the Kings are being undervalued a little bit here. I can't believe they come into this game as the underdog. That is shocking, considering everything that I just said about the Vancouver Canucks. So,
go back on the Canucks schedule here. So they go on a 6-game road trip here to close November and enter December, and they do okay on that. They beat Ottawa, they beat Boston, they lose a close one to Pittsburgh, beat Buffalo, beat Detroit, lose to Minnesota in overtime. So there you go. You got points in pretty much all but one game. Feeling good. They've won 6 games since December 1st. That's something happened on that road trip. I don't know.
Look, it's at the same time, the Kings, yes, they've lost the last 2. Those are tight games. That last one against Edmonton was their 3rd game in 4 nights. So, I mean, and again, there's no shame in losing to they lost 1-0 to the Oilers. That's a powerhouse offense on home ice, and it wasn't as bad. They lost 2-1 to the Jets. Same thing, powerhouse offense on home ice. So they've been close. It's been right there. So I think that Vancouver's just getting too much credit here when they're not good. A little bit of this is the LA Kings not being as great on the road, but on paper, they are the better team. So if I'm going to get them at a discount, I will gladly take it.
The Canucks have lost 5 of 6, and in that stretch have scored a total of 6 goals, with 4 of those coming against the game they lost to the Canadiens. So
they're the favorites tonight, is what you're saying.
I can see the Kings after, like you said, 3 out of 4. Everything they're dealing with, their heads are at home. They're having trouble scoring. Maybe tonight's a night that they rally, and like you said, as slight underdogs here, which is amazing. I could go Kings here. I could see a Kings money line bet. Why not? Like you said, just throw it at the. Yeah, absolutely.
The value is there. I'm not saying the Kings are going to come out and do well, because they still got to put the puck in the net. But there's too much love on this Vancouver side for, I don't know why. I don't know why. I'm trying to figure it out why.
I mean, yeah, Demko's in net, but
Yeah, but
Besides
Demko's
that,
been lit up as well. So if anything, this would be better if it was Kevin Lankinen who was starting. But
he hasn't had a good run lately either.
he has had a good run. Yeah. So it's kind of like there's no good goal. I'd say what you want about Darcy Kemper. I mean, he's been good. He's been good. He's been healthy-ish, and he's been good.
You're the one that needs the Darcy Kemper. Like, hey, he's better. I'm the one that had multiple shares of him in fantasies. Yeah,
I have some shares.
Train.
I have some shares of him in other places, and I'm happy and I'm surprised. You know what I mean? It's like when you expect to be disappointed and then you're not. You're just like, oh, this is a good feeling. That's what I'm experiencing with Darcy Kemper. I'm experiencing a good feeling.
Experiencing a good feeling because of Darcy Kemper. I mean, I don't know if anybody said that since he's raised the cup in Colorado.
I look, I don't know why, but he's playing well. Good for him. He needs to continue though tonight, because if he gets lit up, I'm not going to be happy with him. He owes me lunch money if he does.
Well, we'll see if he has to send you a check through the mail for that. But we just ran through 13 games in a little just under 40 minutes. I think that was pretty good.
That's pretty good. We have lots of reasons to make some money tonight. We have lots of reasons. You know, gas is expensive. I hear eggs just out of this world crazy price.
Bird flu is no joke.
There you go. So lots of good ways to make a bunch of money here. You know, just go out there, spend it.
Tell us, fade us, whatever you got to do to make money, whatever you think. There you go. We're just here to try and offer some insights and how we're leaning or what we're definitely going to be playing tonight. So there we go. Went through all the 13 game slate. Maybe we'll do that again. That was fun. Now you can always reach out to the show at totalhockeynow@gmail.com. What do we got coming up on the Slapshot podcast this week?
Puck Doku, of course. We're going to take a deeper dive into Connor Hellebuck and his quest to win the Hart and Vezina versus when Carey Price did it, because I'm hearing some disrespect on Carey Price's name and I'm not here for it. So the old Twitter machine has been trying to convince me that Connor Hellebuck is having a better historical season, and I'm just not here for it. So I'm just going to I'm not taking anything away from Connor Hellebuck, okay? Just don't get it twisted. If I had to pick one goalie in a game 7 of anything or any world event, it's prime Carey Price 11 out of 10 times, and I will fight you to it.
All right, so there's a reason alone to tune in. Right there, the American goalie versus the Canadian goalie, who had the better campaign. Chris is going to break it down. Also, before we get out of here, we got Ryan Evans checking in. Old good feeling Kemper. Yeah, I mean, maybe it's a good feeling now, right? Darcy Kemper. He's him and David Riddick have been a pretty underrated and solid goaltending tandem at LA that year. That doesn't get talked about enough.
I don't even think I can't remember a time where I felt good about having Darcy Kemper, and yet here we are.
Here we are. I mean, listen, it's working. Behind the Kings, it works. Though, because of the way they play, you can take mediocre goalies and they'll look good. Rip and Riff earlier in the week came out. We got full divisional round preview. Well, we only had 3 games at that point. We didn't know the Eagles be playing the Rams yet. So got 3 games we preview there. We ripped through some football and some hockey cards and have a little fun there. But today was fun, man. I like this. We're going to have to do this format again soon.
That's it. And if you win a bunch of money, it's because of us. If you don't, please play responsibly and, I don't know, blame somebody else.
Yes. So for at Fuzzy Chris 91 and our buddy at Ant Rivera 86, hope all's going well there at home. I'm at Pucking Thoughts. Back with you next Thursday with an all new episode of Total Hockey Now, episode 76 on the Total Hockey Now YouTube channel.